as far as the business of boxing.
The best thing is a fighter needs to take almost everything.
You paid all that money and had the biggest stage in boxing on Netflix, and that is really the best they could do?
He knew that he could not beat Bud Crawford, which is why they basically paid him $100 million.
On Joe Rogan's podcast, Canelo openly admitted that he didn't give his all against Crawford after his loss. He said he held back, fought at half speed, stayed flat-footed, and let Crawford look better than he actually was. Canelo also mentioned that financial and business reasons influenced his approach, admitting he was paid to take it easy instead of fighting with his usual full intensity.
Well, how does that work? Because it's not pay-per-view. Do they still...
Netflix putting up the money.
So they don't get no back end then?
No, there is no back end. There's ticket sales.
Yeah, because pay-per-view, the back end is the most.
There's no pay-per-view.
I guess if you give me $50 million up front, I don't really care about the back end.
This confirmed what many in the boxing world had already guessed after the fight. Fans and experts saw that Canelo wasn't performing at his usual level. He hardly used his jab, a move he normally relies on, didn't throw combinations, and didn't pressure Crawford with his typical rhythm. Instead, he landed single punches, often stayed in one spot, and showed little urgency as the fight went on. His punch numbers were also some of the lowest in his career. At first, people thought age was slowing him down, but his own words completely changed that view.
He don't have the punching power, but he has the skills that's necessary.
Crawford.
Yeah.
So you were very impressed with his performance? Did you say?
Well, yeah. The point of the matter is, I knew if it came down to if somebody got knocked out, I thought Crawford would probably get knocked out.
Yeah.
But I know about Fox.
Oscar de la Hoya was among the first to voice his doubts. Just hours after the fight, he posted online, "What was that? I know Canelo can be slow, but not that slow. I know he can be weak, but not that weak. Did he even train, or was he paid to lose?" Having promoted Canelo for years, de la Hoya couldn't recognize this performance. This wasn't the fighter he knew. From watching Canelo in training, where his speed and output were always impressive, de la Hoya felt the fight didn't reflect his true character. Against Crawford, he didn't think age alone could explain what happened.
When he got hit by Crawford and he took that deep breath, he's frustrated. Don't get me wrong. Canelo facing the right opponent that's going to stay in front of him, that's going to fight, that's going to make it a brawl, Canelo knocks him out. So I'm not saying Canelo's shot or done. No, it's far from.
Veteran boxer Gabe Rusado also weighed in, saying Canelo fought with cemented feet, barely used his jab, threw no combinations, and landed only single punches. To Rusado, it looked like the performance of someone well past their prime, not a current champion. His observations matched Canelo's own admission. In fights against Golovkin and other top opponents, Canelo relied on doubled-up jabs, sharp combinations, and constant pressure. Against Crawford, Rusado saw none of that.
Watching Bud catch those shots off his glove,
he looked amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. He'd go to a body and he'd catch that and come up with an uppercut. You know, just all those things that seem...
He looked great.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do that to ever.
No one has. Yeah, he's the best.
Canelo. Ever.
Yeah, he's the best.
And I think he would do that to Canelo on his best day. And Canelo said it, he goes, I couldn't figure him out.
No.
Which is...
Claressa Shields also believed that Canelo's body was wearing down. She said he couldn't move well, struggled to throw combinations, and his legs had nothing left, viewing it as a natural decline after a long career. At the time, this seemed believable. Meanwhile, David Benavidez, one of Canelo's harshest critics, has long argued that Canelo avoids tough challenges. Before the Crawford fight, he claimed Canelo picked fights where he had the edge and avoided those that would truly test him. After the fight, Benavidez said again that Canelo was no longer willing to take real risks.
Do you have any advice for them for his boxing business?
Because, you know, the fighters always get the less money, and some of the fighters they need to take the money, the guarantee money, right? Because they don't make a lot of money in the fights, right? But they are as a fighters.
According to Benavidez and many others, Canelo was mostly chasing a big payday. While some find this surprising, Benavidez sees it as typical and expects Canelo to keep doing the same. Oscar de la Hoya told Fight Hype that the result had more to do with style than decline. He rejected the idea that Alvarez is finished but stressed that his future depends on careful matchmaking. De la Hoya explained that when Canelo faces the right opponent, someone who will stand and trade blows, he can still deliver a knockout. He added, "It's all about the matchmaking. It's about who you put in front of him and squeezing those last dollars from the fans."
You see, Canelo is a strong fighter, and every punch he throws comes with power, right? That breaks down the body. Physically, his body is breaking down. Plus, he just had a kid. Canelo wants to go enjoy his life. He wants to keep his wits, keep his mind together, stay sharp, and go enjoy a little bit of that money that he just made. But he could not pass the torch to somebody that didn't respect the game. Canelo's at the top of the list. But Terence
De la Hoya believes Canelo can still compete at the top level, but mostly against opponents whose style fits him. Eddie Hearn takes a different view. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, he stressed both the business and sporting value of a rematch with Crawford. For Hearn, the main question is whether Canelo can quiet doubts about retirement. Fans want to see if Alvarez will adjust or if Crawford will push him closer to the exit, he said. Hearn also pointed out that Canelo has a history of changing his tactics, suggesting he could develop new skills that might trouble Crawford.
Mac, you've been training Crawford for years. Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
He just got to take a break.
Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man, B-Man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the first fight, Canelo began well, dominating the early rounds with precise counters that kept Crawford careful. But the momentum changed in the later rounds. From rounds 9 to 12, Crawford took control, landing cleaner punches and forcing Alvarez onto the defensive. Many analysts saw that period as decisive. Hearn thinks that with a smarter strategy in the final rounds, a rematch could turn the result in Canelo's favor.
We already know, we knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No, I tried.
Chris Eubank Jr. shares that optimism, calling a second fight huge and insisting Canelo has what it takes to turn things around. He believes Alvarez's experience and power are still top-notch if used the right way. This view mirrors many in boxing. Canelo still has dangerous weapons, but he must be willing to adapt. Trainer Robert Garcia also supports a rematch, saying hunger will be key. Garcia told Fight Hype that Alvarez must avoid the mistakes of the first fight and fully use his power from start to finish. His take reflects a common idea in boxing. Canelo's skills are still there, but his mindset and willingness to fight at full intensity will shape what comes next.
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit, but don't.
For Crawford, the win over Alvarez, whether planned or not, has opened new doors. But there's debate over who he will fight next. Some analysts think he might avoid the toughest opponents. Fighters like David Benavidez, Dimitri Bivol, Diego Pacheco, and Bektomir Malakuz pose serious physical challenges with size and power that could test Crawford's style. These matchups are high risk with uncertain reward. Instead, many expect Crawford to choose opponents with big names that promise high paydays but less danger, like Jermell Charlo or Hamza Shiraz.
A potential rematch, as a Canelo fan, I don't really want to see that. I don't think there will be much difference. I don't think Canelo can bring anything to the table that's going to surprise Crawford. He's a different fighter now. If this was 10 years ago, yes, I think the fight could have gone a different way. But there's no point in even thinking that because Canelo's a different fighter now. They fought today. They fought when Crawford is older as well. So I can't be trying to say, well, Canelo's not in his prime.
The business side of boxing plays a big role here. Crawford's win puts him in a spot to demand huge paydays, but the opponents he picks will decide how long he keeps that advantage. At the same time, Canelo's decisions will shape the sport too. If he goes straight for a rematch with Crawford, it could grab massive global attention. If he opts for an easier fight against a more favorable opponent, it might signal that his career is entering its final chapter.
See between Terence Crawford and Canelo. Personally, I do not want to see a rematch. Usually rematches are in order when it's a very close fight and you can't really tell, which fighter won. There was a lot of close rounds, swing rounds. That wasn't the case in this fight. Terence Crawford won pretty handedly. I personally scored the fight 9-3. Being generous, you can give it 8-4. Now,
personally, I'm not interested in a rematch between Terence Crawford and Canelo. Rematches usually make sense when a fight is very close and the winner isn't clear. There were some competitive rounds, but that wasn't the situation here. Crawford won clearly. If I'm being generous, I scored it 93, while some might even give it 84.
I saw that. The Coca-Cola, I'm buying.
I risk my life in the ring, and everybody's making money too. It's not that they don't making money, they making money, but the fighter needs to make more than everybody.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time.